I'm Kevin Dorn. Tonight on Fox Rochester News First at 10. Some of your lawmakers working late in Albany tonight trying to get a state budget passed. At a time when funding's tight everywhere, one local organization doesn't rely on taxpayers. We go inside the lab that's getting some money. Highest court in the land reviewing same-sex marriage, and there are vigils all across America on both sides of this issue. Scotty?
Hey, Kev, thank you very much, buddy. After a pretty terrific afternoon, looks like some more rain and snow showers in the region. Will tomorrow be snowier? Find out next here on Fox Rochester News First at 10, which starts now.
From WUHF TV. This is Fox Rochester News First at 10 in high definition.
Good evening, everyone. Your lawmakers in Albany are working overtime this evening on the state budget. Leaders in the Senate say they will pass the remainder of the new budget bills just after midnight tonight. You're looking at pictures from Senate TV out of Albany. It's the first time these bills, which have been ready since Sunday, are ready to take action. Some Democrats are upset they're working so late into the night when they could have done this work earlier in the day. Now, if all are approved, it will be up to the Assembly to pass them before April 1st, the deadline for an on-time budget. The Assembly will be back in session in Albany this Thursday morning. Well, local health care workers are worried about that state budget. It calls for $2.5 million in cuts for programs designed to prevent heart disease. Doctors say these programs are a vital cause in funding, and the funding doesn't come from anywhere else.
It's one of those really important things to say, you know, how far do we have to go? Do we actually have to start seeing death rates go up? Do we have to start seeing, more people dying from heart disease, seeing that go up at a time when it's actually been going down?
Dr. Cook says progress has been made at reducing the death rate from heart disease, like the Clean Indoor Air Act, which cut off smoking at restaurants and bars, and he says saved lives. All new tonight, at a time when government funding is tight, a local grassroots organization is handing out hundreds of thousands of dollars. The Breast Cancer Coalition of Rochester doesn't rely on taxpayers. Vanessa Herring says it all comes from generous people in the community who believe in the mission. Vanessa?
Well, two local researchers got a combined $107,000 from the Breast Cancer Coalition of Rochester. One of them is 24-year-old Ryan Dawes. He's a second-year PhD student at the University of Rochester Medical Center. The coalition says his project is innovative, and he's hoping his research will lead to higher survival rates. The Breast Cancer Coalition of Rochester gets very little funding from government grants.
Most of the funds that we have, we raised right here in the community.
Yet they've been able to award more than $380,000 in grants to date.
Because we're not a huge organization, we don't need to raise huge amounts of money, which gives us these reserves that we can turn right back around and put it to where we think the need is greatest, which is breast cancer research.
A $57,000 grant is fueling Ryan Dawes research at the University of Rochester Medical Center.
You can ask any researcher in really any field. The federal budgets are currently very tight. The sequester that is currently in place in the government, in the federal government, is really putting a hamper on our efforts. And this is a great opportunity for us to get a breath of fresh air and a breath of fresh funding.
Dawes will use mice to study how psychological stress affects exosomes, which are signals sent off by cells.
We're going to determine if the exosomes change, so those little messages, if they change following stress, and then correlate that with if there are any changes in the tumor itself.
Dawes says breast cancer patients experience psychological stress the day they're diagnosed. This research could lead to changes in the way patients are treated and improve survival rates.
By better understanding how psychological stress may drive that progression, we may be able to provide better adjuvant care, better whole care to reduce the morbidity and mortality that we see with breast cancer.
The coalition says Dawes research is innovative, and at a time when funding is scarce, they're proud to provide a way for researchers like Ryan to work towards finding a cure. Dawes will present a midterm review on his study to the Breast Cancer Coalition in 6 months. The other grant went to a professor at Roswell Park Cancer Institute in Buffalo. That study could lead to a vaccine to prevent breast cancer tumors from coming back. Vanessa Herring, Fox First at 10.
If you'd like to find out more information about the Breast Cancer Coalition and its good work in our community, just go to rochesterhomepage.net. And you'll find this story right on the front page. Continuing coverage now of the same-sex marriage debate going on at the Supreme Court in Washington. Tomorrow, the High Court will hear about the Defense of Marriage Act, or DOMA as it's called. It says marriage is defined as being only between a man and a woman. Today, the High Court took California's ban of gay marriage, or Proposition 8, on. Those opposed argue it's unconstitutional. During 80 minutes of arguments, the justices hinted they may dismiss the case without ruling. Meanwhile, people on both sides of same-sex marriage rallied outside the Supreme Court in Washington.
Get ready for that happy day, we'll sing and shout.
And in Rochester, a rally outside the federal courthouse this afternoon as well. One of more than 170 across America today. People on both sides of this debate actually gathered this afternoon, and they made their voices heard about what's going on with the High Court.
At this point, it is an indignity. It is not just about saving tax money. That's the least of our interests.
God created Adam and Eve. He didn't create Adam and Steve. And psychological and sociological studies have been done showing that children react better and grow up better in an environment where there's a mother and father rather than two moms or two dads.
A new poll shows America's divided on this issue. 53% now think same-sex marriage should be legal. That is up 11% from last May. I want to get you up to speed. Investigators are looking into what caused a crash in Oswego County that killed 4 men. Sheriff's deputies say a highway worker found a Dodge Intrepid off the road this morning in the town of Hannibal. All 4 people inside were dead. Names or ages have not been released. Deputies will release more information tomorrow when it becomes available. A Rochester man has pleaded guilty to child porn charges. We first told you about 43-year-old Anthony Davis last July. Police say he had sexually explicit videos of a 7-year-old on his smartphone. Davis faces 15 to 30 years and a $250,000 fine if he is convicted. Police say a teen mom from Gates put her toddler in a dryer and then turned it on. 17-year-old Jasmine Brown is facing a felony endangerment charge. She's accused of letting her 2-year-old son climb into the dryer. This happened Saturday at St. Joseph Villa in Gates, and according to court documents, somebody else there saw Brown do it, saw the boy crawl into the clothes dryer, and then she ran over and stopped the dryer. Brown is in the Monroe County Jail tonight on $50,000 bail. By the way, an order of protection has been issued against her son. Crews are investigating what caused a large fire at a Genesee County business today. These are pictures of the damage. Call came in around 2:40 for a fire at the M&M fabricating plant. Several fire crews were needed to help put the flames out in Darien. No reports of injuries. Well, traffic is open again in downtown Rochester, but look at the mess earlier today when a tractor trailer got stuck under the railroad bridge on St. Paul Street. This around 3 o'clock. The trailer was crushed, bent in half. Nobody was hurt, but traffic in the southbound lanes was delayed quite a while they offloaded that truck and dragged the truck out from under the bridge.
Now, Chief Meteorologist Scott Hetzko with Rochester's most accurate forecast.
And you think you had a bad day.
Somebody didn't read the clearance sign properly.
You know, trucks do get stuck under that bridge quite a bit, and but that one was just crushed. And it's not funny, but, well, you know.
It's funny because no one got hurt.
Nobody got hurt.
That's the good news.
That's the big thing.
And this isn't hurting anybody, Kevin. There's your segue into the weather map.
Thanks for saving me.
Some scattered rain and wet snow showers out there right now. Not a big deal. Most of them away from the central part of Rochester and western New York, but still some snow showers south at this moment. Let's look at some of the numbers right now. Everybody at 40 except for Penn Yan. Look at them, 28, 32 in Ithaca. Valley's a little bit colder tonight with a little bit more clearing sky. Now, tomorrow at the bus stop, maybe a couple of flurries. We'll be at 32 degrees, wind out of the west-northwest at about 8 miles an hour tomorrow. Much more on the weekend coming up. It's a big one, Kev. We'll talk about 50 in a few.
Thanks, Scotty. A developing story out of Wayne County where a local school district has more than enough money, according to a state audit. The audit says Wayne Central School District has a financial surplus exceeding what the state feels is necessary. Now, the district disagrees. Allie Tui has the story.
Fred O'Neill's giving the Wayne Central School District State Audit food for thought on his lunch hour.
Well, it's a good thing that we have it, but the bad thing is who was watching who and how did it get that far before we realized there's that much money in there.
Questions Fred wants answered since he pays about $2,200 a year in school taxes. According to the 29-page report, the district has more money than it needs. And it got there by underestimating revenues and overestimating expenses from 2007 to 2012. Furthermore, the comptroller alleges the district created, quote, fake encumbrances or outstanding purchase orders, saved nearly $5 million in their fund balance, and transferred about $14 million into district reserves to alter Wayne Central School's financial picture. The district now has 90 days to come up with a corrective action plan based on the state's recommendations, although it's unclear what direction the district will take. According to the audit, the district disagrees with some of the findings. School officials weren't available for comment, but in a statement, the district superintendent says, quote, these surpluses coincide with the financial plan for the 2010 capital project proposal, which was fully disclosed to the community. The budget did what it was intended to do, reduce the tax burden for residents while saving for a capital project. Richard Horton's grandson, Michael, is a 9th grader in the district. He supports the district's decisions.
I think they do an excellent job. I mean, I have no problem. My grandson is, he's doing very well. It's their money. They've run their school district efficiently.
A link to the entire audit and the district's response is available on our website, rochesterhomepage.net. In Ontario, Allie Tui, Fox First at 10.
We are just getting started tonight on Fox. Local vets may be entitled to hundreds of dollars in benefits that may help them live the American dream, and they don't know about it. And later in Sports Extra, this is your chance to play Oak Hill with Tiger Woods. Okay, sort of. John has the story. And next, a murder case against Amanda Knox may not be over yet. Will she go back to Italy for yet another trial?
You're watching Kevin Doran, Chief Meteorologist Scott Hetzko, Sports Director John Kutchko. This is Fox Rochester News, first at 10 in high definition.